Welcome to today's collective reading. I had quite a bit come through in the meditation leading in and the downloads and the information coming through. So I'm going to go through what really came out here. And I'm going to begin with where the collective's mind is at, where what you're curious about, what's on your mind, what you're worrying about, be it a situation, an individual, your own inner shadow work. Where is your mind at that you could get some direction on this? Where are the thoughts of those involved? Where are they at right now to help you get some clarity? What came through would be the magician and the devil. So you're confronting your fears. You're confronting that which takes your power. You're taking your power back. As the magician, you have all that you need to manifest, and you're confident in that. Thus, you're willing to step up and stand in your power and take this back. This is where your thoughts are. This could be where their thoughts are. This is something that's happening, about to happen. There's strategy going through your mind, but there's a definite feeling of passion, confidence, fire, a sense of where things are. The alternative to overcoming this challenge is unacceptable. And this is felt throughout your whole being or throughout theirs. And that means that in the manifesting aspect, the magician is not leaving an opportunity for failure to even begin to be plotted, planned, or strategized within them. Thus, that timeline does not exist. And that is very powerful manifesting, because it's not just within one aspect of the tool that the magician brings to the table. The magician will bring the wand, the pentacle, the cup, and the sword. All four elements, the emotion, the groundedness and the reality, the knowledge, and the will, that fire, that passion. All of that is not leaving room for failure, for the enemy to triumph. It's not possible, because it's not going to be accepted by the magician, period. This is where your mind or their mind is at. More than likely, this is something that you see eye to eye on. The feeling is rooted, the passion, the unacceptable, that future of that brilliant sun, which came out in the reading yesterday, of providing that better future for the generations that come after you, for your own children, to provide them better than what you had and what they currently have, having that opportunity to create that. That is what's at stake. And that is what hangs in the balance. And that is why it's unacceptable for anything other than success, than victory. All of that is behind that. All of that power is united with one direct goal. And the concept of not being victorious isn't even part of the equation. Oh, don't get me wrong. You're definitely very crafty and very focused on having victory, but you're not leaving room for doubt or fear to kind of niggle away at your logic and then create a wedge and then fracture the foundation. That's not possible, because you're not allowing it to be. You're not feeding anything that comes in like that. However, current actions, you have a very powerful, assertive energy here that is all about fire. Because we have this King of Wands, and it's inverted, and it's paired with the Chariot inverted, and that sounds bad, but there's a reason for this, and it makes perfect sense to me with what came through in the meditation coming in and the downloads, which is that their actions to this point have been, I know what I want, and the moment that I feel it's time, which this is where their thoughts are, that it's time to do this, it's optimal, then I'm moving forward because I am balanced and I am focused and I have all of the power of the King of Wands, the assertive energy that rules the element of fire behind that Chariot. This is inverted because this is the action. It has been in a state of watch, observe, listen. Is it time? Is it time? Is it divine timing now? How about now? What about now? Is it the optimal chance for there to be nothing but success? Because I'm not going to accept anything else. This is the current action within you, within them. To varying degrees, you are more than likely fully in agreement on this, or you're perfectly equal and balanced within it. Thus, the divine timing aspect to it, because it's a co-creation. What they want to do, what you want to do. Once you put this into action and you have that victory, you're securing your high priestess. You're guarding her. You're fighting for this receptive energy that works with the Empress. It's the intuitive aspect, the darker aspect, the shadow work side, all that is unseen, but is balanced within self. So this is the receptive aspect to getting the receptive aspect to the magician. So this is a co-creation in this moment. You're connected to this very, very balanced and powerful feminine or receptive energy. We have that high priestess upright, which, number 2 is of significance possibly, as well as 1 and 15 or 6 and 19 or 10 or 1, as well as 7. These numbers have significance for you. And that protective energy is symbolized with the 7 of Wands. And this image is very Assassin's Creed kind of energy. You won't see it coming. You'll be perfectly distracted as the enemy to this situation. You'll be perfectly distracted. You won't see it coming. You will not see it coming. It'll be over before you know it. Very, very focused. So much power in that protectiveness there. Your advice is to stay focused on the outcome, to lose yourself to that fight, that passion, that there is no other alternative to victory, and that sun hanging in the balance and the whole world weighing on your shoulders and all that pressure, to an extent, can be very empowering. However, there needs to be a bit of a space for you. Just for you, that you know that this isn't about everybody else and the whole world and all that rests on your shoulders. It is for you. And taking care of you, feeding you, loving you is gateway, if you will, through which that you can love and give to and care for all of the other aspects that you feel responsible for. If you do not take care of you and give to what makes you happy selfishly. You can't be selfless in giving. It's signified with this 10 of Pentacles, and there's a lot of love present in this image. There's a lot of togetherness and playfulness and knowledge and conscious co-creation for this abundance. Once you get victory, once you have realized that, oh, this was manifest, that I co-created this is legitimately something that I contributed to creating in my life consciously. I helped create this. Then you get the opportunity to enjoy it. Your advice is to tap into that inner child in you, that playful aspect, to know that as you go through this very heavy experience, possibly, that it's not to just have more heavy experience and not be able to get out of that state of constantly being in fight or flight, but to invite that playfulness, that innocence, that wonder at the concept of, oh, I'm the magician. Oh my gosh. That wonder of looking at the world through new eyes, to bring that in. So when you do have that victory, and you will have that victory, both sides of this and the divine mixing in and supporting and making this all possible through the two of you, however the dynamic may play out and whatever it is that you're co-creating, that you can enjoy it when you get there and not be stuck in fight or flight, that you can know how to take your nervous system out of fight or flight and put it into a parasympathetic state so you can rest in that moment and just be. Just be. And I know that depending on where you are in this, that may seem very simple and anticlimactic, but I'm going to tell you right now that going through an experience like this, any warrior that has overcome impossible odds, any underdog will tell you in that moment where you achieved what everyone thought was impossible, to soak it in, to observe it, to be able to fully experience it. And thus, that action is showing profound gratitude for it. Enjoying that experience is like thanking the divine for showing you how much you're loved, because you're loving the gift. You're grateful for it. You're savoring it. So that's something that's still to be somewhatly owned, decided on. So this is definitely an advice thing that's a bit not sure yet, not locked in. And the outcome, if all things are as is, you know that you have the discernment to know the difference between what is good for you and what is not. And through having that discernment, you know how to set boundaries between what is good for those that you're responsible for, those that you love and care for, how to assist them in reinforcing the boundaries that are already there, that are healthy, as well as to teach, nurture, encourage discernment in them as well, because you have this knowledge. This is a teaching card here, and it's the Queen of Swords upright. This Queen of Swords, she is very careful when she finally does draw that line. When she finally does cut the boundary in the sand with the sword, there is no doubt in her that on one side is truth and the other side is deception, illusion. There's no question. So that surety when you teach the difference between truth and illusion to others, once you have attained it yourself, and you're still teaching it to yourself, your higher self is still coming in and reinforcing what you have already taken the first steps to fully owning. So you could gain confidence, repetitive confidence in this. Because when you do this, it's not often and it's very, very final. There are many shades between illusion and truth, and it's called human experience. We all deal with confusion and complications, and like the saying of it's complicated means that there's ambiguity throughout the dynamic in the situation. So then you would then be going, okay, well, on this aspect, what part is truth and what part is illusion? And you go through the process of elimination using logic that is intuition informed. And as you hone that, you get to a final decision on something. And it does not happen often that it is so absolute. So this situation calls for an absolute boundary, a point of no return. The decision is completely owned. There's no going back. There's only now and forward. This kind of a decision is something that has been possibly lifetimes in the making. This is not a Queen of Swords that's willy-nilly cutting left and right and being irresponsible with what they cut out. The sword does not come out very often, but it's always there. Now, this Queen of Swords, she doesn't just wield a sword. She has a pen. She has paper. She has her voice. She has her knowledge, her truth. So while this is a very masculine energy with the sword, it is wielded by a receptive energy. It's balanced within self. This Queen of Swords energy is not just feminine or masculine, it's both. To know when to use the pen, to use the word, to use the thought, the knowledge versus the sword allows for there to be ambiguity, for there to be compassion and space to work within, because we are humans. Things are complicated. And that means they're ambiguous, even to ourselves. I was guided to do a bit more of a higher self look, a higher view. Now, when I speak of higher self, please hear me. I do not think of higher self as some other personality that I'm not connected to that looks down upon me and tells me what to do because it knows more. I don't relate to my higher self that way. That's such a foreign, almost alienating way of looking at something that is such an integral part of who you are. We are working, interacting, connecting with our higher selves throughout our entire life. Your higher self is nothing more than the future you that knows the answer to the conundrum you're in to help you optimize the outcome. Period. Your higher self is reaching back to you in time to improve their own experience in their own time. So they could come back in time and tell you that if you step just right, just here, you're going to step on a banana and you're going to slip and you're going to fall and you're going to break your tailbone and then you're going to have like the rest of your life, you're going to have horrible back pain. Just to come back in time and have you pause for one moment, but you don't quite know why. And this is where deja vu comes in. There's a reason you have deja vu, a reason you're made to stop and become very aware of your environment. Now, whether you see something happen that suddenly you avoided or not, It may be something so small that could have led to a whole other thing within whatever amount of time. But that moment of deja vu and you pausing for a moment stopped something that future you was like, nah, not living that. I'm going to go back and let myself know that no. This is the magician in action here. Your higher self is the magician in action. They're willing to come back in time to make it so that your victory is the only outcome. The only outcome. And if there is anyone you can trust in this experience, it is the individual that you have known from your first conscious thought, and that is yourself. Nobody knows you like you. Nobody understands your wants, your needs, your desires, what makes you happy like you. And also, no one knows your hurts and how to help you heal them like you. So, the higher self is aware that you're having a lot of anxiety about this situation because you're coming into an alignment of co-creation, and there's a lot of anxiety around this. And they're highlighting that your past fears. Now, this deck only has one card that has this word to it. And this is the placement for past fears. This card is of a threshold, of walking through that, of taking that step to decide to own that it's divine timing and move forward with balanced, assertive, ruling, assertive fire energy. You are creating this outcome, that it's time. You're passing through that. In the past, you have had so much fear about this that the card labeled fear came out. And it's just so poignant. The imagery is perfect on there. Your past actions have been to go with the flow until it's time, to not make extra waves, to keep things simple and not draw attention to yourself, to keep your emotions under check. Calm waters run very deep, and many have no idea how deeply buried your emotions are. But what you're moving towards, what you're so passionate about, you feel very deeply for. And it's so rare that you have that kind of a reaction that there is no doubt within you that this is the direction you're meant to go. This is your future self telling you this. Coming back in time to tell you this. Maybe you need to hear another person say it. And that clicks it for you in your human experience. That just clicks it a little more into place for you. That it's not just you that is getting this download, this direction. Your current beliefs. Now, this deck, everything is pretty much upright. This made it a point, the flip inverted. It's surrender. And a surrender to going within and going within and going deeper and going deeper and going deeper and going deeper. To being fully aware of the detail, even to the minutest of aspects. Kind of like a sniper, like they're so aware of wind direction, temperature, the subtlest things change everything. So it's going more and more and more into detail of everything in the environment. And the phrase that came out when I saw this was surrender, never surrender. This is that very state of anything but victory is unacceptable. You're a warrior. And who you're connecting with, the other energy in this, is of equal strength, skill. However, they complement you. So where you're strong, they're not very strong. Where they're strong, you're not very strong. You see into the spaces with more detail that they can't, and vice versa, which makes sense that you are wanting to protect this very strong, receptive energy that you are connected to, that's very tapped into the divine or guidance from their inner higher self and the divine through their higher self. You may be connecting with multiple higher selves. Your higher self may be getting direction from their higher self to come back and help you here, and so on and so forth. This is where the concept of a multiverse is very real. Everything is connected to everything. The most likely outcome on your current path is this transformation from this anxiety of co-creating, coming into this state of stepping through the threshold, owning that it's the time to move forward with all of this passion and creation and magician energy to secure this future for yourself and generations to come, for your descendants, is a trust will begin to build. It will be successful in creating the connection in a positive way for trust, affection to begin to grow as you move closer and closer and closer to alignment. Now, however close you become is between you and this other energy, but this is going to be secured. This is your future self telling you this. This is the most likely outcome at this time. Your future self coming back to tell you you're not alone, that there's a lot at play, making sure that what's unacceptable will not be, period. The recommendation from your future self is to know that abundance comes in many forms, many different ways of manifesting. To appreciate anything that brings not just physical abundance or emotional abundance, that experience of being able to just be and enjoy and soak in the peace that has been secured, the foundation that has been positively affirmed, to soak that in is an incredibly abundant moment from which to manifest what comes next. As you appreciate the abundance as it comes into your life, in whatever form it shows up. It could be you find a $20 bill in the parking lot when you come out from grocery shopping. It's just nicely tucked under your front tire, like the wind blew it right into your tire. Gratitude. Soak that in. Enjoy it. Thank the divine. And you'll find that that builds and builds and builds and builds. The more you affirm that you're aware and you're grateful for that communication, that synchronicity, the more those synchronicities and the more that abundance will come into your life. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be like a multi-trillion quadrillionaire, but you might have the most love that your soul has been able to live in the lifetime cycle till now. They talk about the turning of the wheel, right? So in this wheel cycle, this will possibly be, if you follow this advice, the most abundant life you've lived in this cycle. It could be simply because you are turning the wheel. It's time. It could be that that's 2-3 lifetimes from now, if you believe in reincarnation, which I do. There's just too much evidence in my own experience to ignore it. But that is my experience. And I own that. So if it doesn't resonate, Feel free to not own it as for you. That is perfectly fine. There is still wisdom in this of appreciating the synchronicities that the divine brings to you. Will bring more of those synchronicities. It's like a snowball rolling down the side of a snow hill. Like it begins to build and become bigger and bigger and bigger and gains momentum. The divine advice. So this is the higher selves to your higher self, the future self to your future self. All of that energy is coming through in a way that lets you know that things are not necessarily always as they seem, and it doesn't matter from which angle you view it. Happiness is happiness. Joy is joy. Gratitude is gratitude. Divine intervening synchronicities are still synchronicities. You're always in co-creation. You're never separate from divine. As long as you nurture your hope, that inner child that still wants to believe in magic, that still wants to be happy, as long as you keep that part of you alive, you're never alone. Never. You're always connected. As long as you have hope in your heart and your mind and your soul, the divine will always be able to reach you. And you'll always be able to recognize that when that does happen. Now, with this deck, it was just too poignant to not notice this coming out. So at the top of the deck, we have strength. And at the bottom, we have ghost. So to me, I kind of giggle because it's like what is passing away, what you're overcoming to a great extent, is the misconception that strength is found in being alone. Human beings are social creatures. We need interaction to be healthy. Now, I understand that, yes, strength is forged in isolation. When you go into hermit mode, you're cold. You are choosing to go into hermit mode because you want to be more than coal. You want to be more than good fire starter. You want to become a diamond. So your strength is found in going in and doing the shadow work, looking at every aspect of self to choose how you want to consciously live your life and not be unconsciously navigating your life, which is being battered around by the waves and just ending up wherever willy-nilly, which can end you up in quite the storm, versus on a tropical island and enjoying coconut water, directly from the source, like right there, organic. No one's ever been here before. Not about you, but yum. So there's a point to which being alone is toxic, is very, very unhealthy for you. So this is a two-sided thing. One, you're finding the strength to overcome the parts of you that desire that isolation that you know lead you to an unhealthy version of yourself. Two, you're choosing to understand that this is a part of you that sees this, that's your ego state, right? Your ego says must protect self. So you are choosing to alchemize this belief, to change this, even though it has been a truth for you for a very long time, or this other energy in this situation, this dynamic that is on your mind. So I went a little deeper at the bottom of the deck. As a result of this no surrender, this anything but victory is unacceptable, of choosing to appreciate the moments of joy and victory and abundance and synchronicity, and that you're never alone. Divine can always reach you as long as you keep a light on inside, as long as you keep a little bit of that hope, a little bit of that, I want to still see magic in my life. The consciousness leveling up in this experience The learning of this lesson, the owning of it, the living of it, fully integrating it into yourself leads to protection that is locked in. Locked in. It leads to you being able to find that rest that you have longed for. You can actually sleep at night and not have these anxious nights of nightmares and what ifs and the night sweats and the fears and the anxieties. You can cleanse yourself of all of that doubt, all of those possibilities. You can cleanse that. You can let that go and rest. And as you do this, because it may be a process, it may take some time. You're protected while you heal, is what this is saying. While you process that you are protected, that you have been successful, that success is assured by your higher self and their higher self and their higher self. This is victory. So go into this knowing that all that you feel directed in this way will lead to the outcome because it's already happened. And have fun with how it manifests, how you end up doing that. Allow yourself to be surprised with how you get creative with securing this victory. Maybe even giggle a little bit. I have an image of the mask with how he's just really he has fun like dodging bullets and he's just really snarky and kind of sarcastic. Like, have fun. Like, once you realize that's what you're doing, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Because you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about. That doesn't mean let go of that passion, that drive, that fire. Because you are the one who does this. They are all coming back in time through each other, leapfrogging to reach you. You are the one. You are the one who secures this protection. You are the point of that arrow. You're the diamond tip of that arrow that changes it, that turns the wheel. Do not minimize yourself in this. You have so many versions of you cheering you on because they're learning a lot from you and you're learning from them. So don't minimize yourself in this. You have everything within you to do this. You do. They came back to you because you have it within you. You're the moment, the perfect divine moment, you. To whoever this resonates with, take a deep breath, let it out slow, and listen. Listen to yourself. Trust yourself. It's not been easy, but I'll tell you, on the other side, your mind will quiet, the chaos will ease, and you'll get to enjoy just being. You'll get to have that reward. You'll get that because you're worthy of it. Period. Anything else than you knowing that you're worthy of that is unacceptable to the divine. The divine connects you to all the versions of you. It connects us to everybody around us, every living, breathing creature. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.